Now, I can't lie, man. This one of them videos when I'm gonna tell you what was going through my mind, my thoughts, my feelings, if I was nervous, if I was scared, all that shit.
Haha, dog, I'm the best. Finna be this way till I EOS. Take it how you want, nigga. Yeah, I'm a pro. Fuck around, I'll bust your lot while you're at Vizzo. I hate to be this way, but I live for the moment. Waking up every day, show me an opponent. Shanks on deck, hitting bitch with a lock. So much pool, I can even start you from the box. You don't wanna pay rent, got me bent. Got lax on deck, your money was well spent. Vultures on the prowl, so don't try testing. Step 2 comes violent, first steps finessing. You a hold down man, suitcase this. My cell phone and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see your ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, everybody? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. I want to tell everybody welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be speaking on what it felt like spending my first night in prison. This is the moment of truth, y'all. This is the moment when you're actually laying in that bunk inside of your cell and you're looking around and reality finally hits you. You feel like, damn, I'm in prison, okay? And I'm gonna just tell you all the type of shit that was going through my mind, you know, what it felt like, you know, was it what I expected? Was it worse? Was it, you know, kind of like what I was expecting? I'm gonna tell y'all all that shit. Of course, when you go in somewhere that you have no idea what it's like, of course, when you go there, your mind's gonna be playing tricks on you. All right, your mind's gonna constantly be swapping, thinking the worst, or might, you know, just go off of what you're looking at and feel like, oh, it ain't that bad. You get what I'm saying? But y'all know how it is. If you ain't never been to prison, the only idea you have is from all the war stories you hear from people. Every little thing that someone throws out there and tells you about prison, whether you're in the county jail and you're speaking to someone that's been there before, or from watching movies, when you're looking on the TV and they got different episodes that got prison scenes in it and stuff like that, or if you're watching true, you know, prison documentaries, whether it's Lock Up, 60 Days In, whatever it is you may watch, those are the type of things that you think you're gonna see when you get locked up, correct, right? You're gonna go off of from what you've experienced through word of mouth from others. You feel me? And that's what happened with me. Now, when I ended up going to prison, you know, I'll back up a little bit, but when I ended up going to prison, I was in black and white max custody down here in Broward County in the main jail. All right? I was on the 7th floor, black and white, max custody. So everybody that was where I was at was either going to prison, that were facing high numbers, or they've been back on an appeal from prison, you know, whether they had life plus 30, so now they're back trying to get back the life sentence, you know, stuff like that. So I had a lot of, like, you know, conversations with people, and it just comes up. That's literally, it ain't like you're like, bro, what is prison like? You know, it just, when y'all are vibing, playing cards and shit, and they start talking about, oh, up the road this, up the road that, you catch all these little things. You can't help but to lock your listening in on what they're saying, especially if you're facing some type of time, you know. And then, of course, you got your homeboys in there that'll tell you and shit. You be like, oh, so what type of canteen they give y'all up the road? And then he go to telling you and be like, oh, what, you get to hit canteen every day? And, oh, nah, bro, you know, it depends on where you go. Like, you get to learn from these people, you know, but at the same time, everybody's bid is going to be totally different. Their experience was different than my experience. My experience will be different than anyone watching's experience. You understand? But it doesn't hurt to know these things, because a lot of the shit they say can be accurate, but a lot of it can also be false. Because like I said before in several other videos, people want to, like, speak on, like, if they're the biggest and baddest inmate, they made it through the toughest times, they was at the hardest institution, they were around the most killerest people, they were around the most demonous inmates. That's what you will get from anybody. Anybody will tell you and make it seem like where they went was the top of the line when they're telling stories, because they want to make people look at them like, oh, they've been through some shit. Or make people feel like the story they're saying is kind of scary. I hope I don't go there. You understand? And that's what it was with me. So when I made it to prison, I don't know you know, I still had butterflies in my stomach, y'all. I don't know if it was because I could still see the look on the judge's face when he gave me them 5 years, or if it was them damn cheese sandwiches they fed us on the bus on the way there. That was really fucking with my stomach, you feel me? So, you know, my first night though, I already broke down to y'all before what it was like when I got there, how I went through the whole, you know, process of being stripped and squat call, took my picture, got checked by the nurse, the whole nine. Got my head buzzed off, they shaved my shit, all that. I'm talking about my first night, spending my first night there. When the lights was out, you know, and I was actually laying there looking up at the damn ceiling, had 101 things going through my mind, couldn't believe I was here. You know, you just go to be thinking about how much time you got. You can't help but to look at it and be like, damn. You start thinking, this is what I'm gonna go through for the next 5 years. This is what my life is for 5 years, you know, and you're looking around the cell. I was at South Florida Reception Center, so my cell, boy, that shit felt like I was in a cave because the doors are so damn big. They're not the size of a regular door. They're like super duty, big ass doors, you feel me? Like they were big doors. So like, and then the inside of the cell was real tall. And I remember laying there above a complete stranger, you feel me? And you know, I felt awkward. I don't know this dude from a can of paint. He don't know me. But as I'm laying there, you know, I got the high view. I'm looking around the cell and shit. I see all the type of things he's got in here. I see a half of a soda can with some grease in it and shit. Like it was, he lit it, he made a fire and all that shit. Like he had a candle lit, and I was looking around. I seen his pictures hanging up, and I'm like, dawg, this shit looks like a condemned cell that I'm used to seeing, basically. You know, like as far as a jail cell, you know, that shit feels like jail. Me going to prison, it didn't feel like that. It felt like it was totally different. We don't have AC down here. Only in private permanent camps have AC, which is like 5 or 6 probably in the whole state of Florida. Everywhere else we don't have AC. You know, so I was laying there looking around the room. I seen how like, you know, clean he was, but then it was also like, it was so dirty-ish inside the cell. Everybody who had their blues on, which is the uniform they give you, nobody had nice blues. They were all ran down, scuffy, bleach stains, you know, some holes in some of them, torn pockets. So I'm like, damn, this shit's kind of like low budgeted, you know? It felt like they just give you whatever. And they do, because when you get there, they give you a pair of Crocs. You know, they used to give out boots back in the day, but they actually give you Crocs. Now, when they give you the Crocs, you gotta hope they give you 2 of the same size. They might give you a size 8 and a size 11. You know what I'm saying? But when the lights went out and I was laying there, I remember, boom, I looked over, my bunkie, he covered his face up with a towel, rolled over, he went to sleep. He was already comfortable, you know, and I found out later on down the line that he ended up, you know, he was there before, and then he's trying to stay there as a permanent instead of getting transferred to another camp. He wants to stay at the reception center and blah, blah, blah. He gave me the whole rundown like that. But it was the point to where I wasn't comfortable. So I slept a lot during the day when I first got there, but at nighttime, boy, I was up. And I was just staring at the ceiling thinking like, damn, I'm not gonna see none of my peoples for 5 years. I got set up right after my dad died. You feel me? My dad's still freshly in heaven right now. You feel me? Looking down on me, and I'm in a cell looking up at him. All the spiders and shit that were around the top of the room. You feel me? Because it's real like dirty in there. And I'm just thinking like, everything that I've seen and heard, I got to prepare myself for. So now my whole mind, and I was kind of nervous, my whole mindset was on tomorrow. Tomorrow, when they pop these doors, I ain't gonna know what to do, where to go, what the fuck I'm supposed to get into, none of that. But this is when I'm gonna view people, and people are gonna view me, and 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna get in some shit, because I'm not the type to let nobody try me. You feel me? I don't care about the consequences and repercussions. You see what I'm saying? I laugh and kiki a lot and shit, but that's just me. You know, I know how to do time. I know how to, you know, make people's time fly also, but I'm not friendly like that. You know, I'll literally like laugh and kiki my own world and do what I want to do and walk around how I feel like it. And somebody 9 times out of 10 won't like it, will get an altercation. They'll think because I'm a white boy with blue eyes, that shit's sweet, you know? But in all reality, I'm just a laughy type. But once I crank, you know what I'm saying? So I got 101 things going on in my mind. I'm like, okay, tomorrow, someone's probably gonna fuck with me. I'm new. You know, my bunkie ain't really said too much to me. He said a little bit of shit, but he ain't really said too much. You know, so I'm like, he probably in on whatever it is. And me being in the main jail in black and white, which I've been in max custody multiple times down here in Broward. I always land in the main jail. Even if they send me to the lower custody jails, like Paul Ryan, Joseph E. Conte, or North Broward, I end up getting in fights or something like that. My custody jacks up. I go to confinement and land in black and white. Every single time I go to jail, I land in max custody. It's just something happens. And it's like I'm a totally different person on the inside than I am out here on the streets. Out here on the streets, you know, I chill back and I don't jump the gun as much as I used to. Back in the day, I used to though. Back in the day, I was a problem on the streets and in prison. But now, I don't have to be like that. Now, I'm just more mellow, laid back, cool, calm, and collective. But it's still in me if it has to come out. You understand? But for the most part, I'm not out here looking for shit. You see? But in jail, I'm different. I feel like disrespect is behind every action someone comes at you with. Someone bumps you in your damn, when they walk by, you feel me, turn around like, hey man, you better watch where the fuck you going, bro. You tripping. You know, someone cut you in line, bitch, ain't no cutting, boy, you tripping. You better get your ass to the end of the line. Feel me? You ain't cutting me, I know that much. Like, you know, you gotta stand up for yourself. You gotta bring shit to the light, or else them little things that you let slide and sweep under the rug, you're gonna deal with it your whole bid. Your whole bid, you're gonna deal with it. And it might not be by the same person. There's gonna be others that seen that person do that, and they're gonna try it too. You get what I'm saying? That's like if a bunch of people are online and a special food is trending, everybody sees all these videos and everybody's trying this food, then what? You're gonna start seeing more and more and more people doing it because it's trending. They see others doing it. That's what's gonna happen if people, you know, skate and cut you in line or talk to you in any kind of way, bump you when they walk by. You know, shit like that. So in prison or in jail, I'm a totally different person. That's when the smile goes away, you feel me? And them demon eyes come out, you know? So as I'm laying there thinking like, shit, tomorrow someone tries me, bitch, I'm finna bust them in their mouth, you know? But now we're in prison, so I'm laying there and I'm like, bitch, I know these dudes probably got knives. I already know. I know they got a knife. I done seen all this shit on TV. I done heard about it, you know? But every single thing that I actually seen on TV, inside of South Florida Reception Center, because that's the reception center I had to go to because I'm from down south. That shit didn't look like anything I've ever seen on TV. So that like threw all that shit out the window, you know, as far as like my vision of what it looked like. I never seen anything that looked like South Florida Reception Center ever. Never again in my bid, ever. No matter how many camps I went to, institutions, nothing was like South Florida Reception Center as far as how it looked, the layout and the setup and all that. So it was kind of hard to like think, oh, this is what it's gonna be like. It wasn't. It was totally different. Next thing you know, I'm laying there. I see cockroaches and shit running down the wall. I'm just laying there like, bitch, it's humid as hell in here. My bunkie down there, you feel me? He used to this shit. And me, every single thing, like I said, that I thought was gonna happen, didn't happen. I was prepared for whatever. Literally. I was nervous as shit. Can't lie. In my mind, prison was the one thing that I was always like nervous to go through. You feel me? I'm not really scared of shit. Literally. I got fearless tatted right here, you know? But prison, I was anxious and curious about. So when I caught the time, I was relieved that I didn't get 20 years, you know? I was happy, okay, boom, I only caught 5. But then in my mind, I'm like, nah, I'm nervous. I got these 5 to do. But going through all these little programs and detention centers and in and out of the county and stuff like that, you know, you kind of like adapt to it. Just like your first time going to jail, you're going to be kind of nervous. Your second time going, you'll be a little less nervous. And then the third time, your ass ain't nervous at all. Fourth time, you're in there, you're eating the food like it ain't nothing. Now you're eating extra plates. You're in there vibing. You're used to it. So I know after a while, I'm going to adapt. But then again, I didn't have nobody like by my side. I didn't have no fucking friends. I didn't have nobody. So when I got there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take flight. I'm laying there in the bed thinking like, bitch, as soon as these doors pop tomorrow, you know, I guess they're gonna pop. I don't know how they do breakfast. I'm starving, you know, and they pop the doors. It's still fucking like dim out, nighttime outside. They pop the doors. It's time for breakfast. I see everybody getting up, going walking to breakfast. I'm like, all right, bitch, it's time for me to go too. That's when I got my first experience of what it looked like walking around the compound. Went to breakfast, went in the chow hall and everything like that for breakfast. Okay, I also did it at dinner time and all that, but it was daytime, so it was more easier to see and everything. You know, everybody you see is looking at you, you're looking at them, because if you see somebody that, you know, might have been an op on the streets, they might have been one of your enemies from a different neighborhood or from where you're from or anything, you're gonna look and you wanna observe everything. But at the same time, the more you're making eye contact and the more you're looking, the more curious you are, the more nosy you seem to these people. You feel me? They might be like, man, what's up with this dude? What do you keep looking at me for? And in your mind, you're looking because you're just trying to read everybody's face. Everybody's got fresh haircuts, you know, so they might not look like who they were on the streets. So you got to definitely look at their face. You understand? You got to get a good vision of their face because everybody's walking around with a shaved head. That dude might have had dreads on the streets. You know, that dude might have had dreads and golds in his mouth. Now you see him, he ain't got no golds because them shits was pull-outs, and he's got a shaved head. You feel me? People that have tattoos all on their face and shit, like all over here and all that, that you knew on the streets or you seen before in the county jail, you might not notice the tats right away just because their dreads ain't there. You feel me? But I'll tell you what, my first night in prison, y'all, I had so many things going through my mind. I knew my peoples on the streets were worried about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, but fuck it, is what it is. I'm gonna hold my head up regardless. There was nothing I could do about it. I was already there. See what I'm saying? So now I'm like, I'm here. The hard part's over with. Now let's just get this shit over with. That's it. That's how it was. I felt like the hard part was over with. Sitting in the county, waiting to be sentenced, going back and forth from court dates, letting them play with me, making me think I'm catching this much time, making me think they're giving me this much, and then when I lock my mind on this much, now they up it to this much. You know, they're like playing with you. You know, you got 101 different emotions going through your mind when you're in the county jail. And then as soon as your ass gets to prison, you're going to have the same thing. Because the people who walk around and feel the comfortablest the most, that try so hard to hide it, that they're not nervous and try to act like they're, you know, comfortable fully and they're with the shits, those be the same ones that be blindsided from the shit that's actually right there. You got to just fall back. You have to just fall back. Take time to vision everything. Take time to peep your surroundings, peep the people that are surrounding you and all that. You peep plays that you don't even want to peep and stuff, and then you'll find yourself not in harm's way as much. But then there's going to be them nosy people that are going to try to get over and weasel their way and try to like get to know you. They're going to try to come around and try to talk to you. They're going to try to see what you got, where you're from, what you're able to get your hands on, you know, shit like that. So while I was laying in the bed, I was like, I know tomorrow, if a bitch plays with me, I'm gonna land in confinement. But nobody did though. See what I'm saying? I didn't have no problems. You see, it just, my mind was playing tricks on me from everything that I heard that was thrown at me, everything that I seen growing up on TV, and that shit was nothing like that. South Florida Reception Center was actually straight. Cool, it was laid back, you know what I'm saying? And then I got moved from my cell to another cell, and then I didn't have a bunkie. You see what I'm saying? My bunkie, I mentioned this before, my bunkie told me that one of his homeboys' bunkies went home. You feel me? So he said that he was gonna move to that dude's cell, but instead, the officer that works in the night shift is gonna move him into my cell. So I'm gonna go to that dude's cell. But I don't have a bunkie because that dude went home. So I have my own cell until I get a bunkie. You feel me? So I ended up the next day or 2 days later or something like that, ended up getting sent to another cell and had to do the whole start over shit, set up again in a totally different dorm. You feel me? And I remember being in that bitch with no bunkie, no nothing. I'm like, bitch, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely on my P's and Q's. You know, like now I'm like, bitch, I'm in here by myself, a fresh dorm. They think I just came here when really I did. I ain't been in prison fucking 5 days. And, you know, but to them, they feel like I just got here, you know. But I got lucky in that one because I found a banger, a poker. There was a poker inside my heater. You feel me? I just happened to find a poker. I'm like, oh, bitch, I'm straight. I got a knife. What? Bitch, play with me, bitch. I'm giving it to him. I ain't even playing. Boy, I caught me a poker. Boy. You know, and that was my first time ever, like, seeing one. You know, I couldn't believe I found one just laying there. Didn't have no handle or nothing on it. It was just like a long nail. Looked like a huge nail. Basically, like a stick that you put in the ground, or a stake, whatever the shits are called that you hit in the ground. It looks like a huge nail. It looked like that. It was sharpened enough and everything. You feel me? A little bit dull, so I, you know, did what I had to do. But, you feel me? That was like a sign. You know, if you're going to get put in harm's way, you're in a new dorm, look here. But that made me think, oh, this bitch here for a reason. Boy, I'm going to need this. And didn't even need it. You see? So, my first night in prison was like, it wasn't that bad. It was more like my mind playing tricks on me. You get what I'm saying? I was nervous and worried, anxious, you know, kind of excited at the same time, because it's like, you know, I'm trying to get this shit over with. So once I go home, bitch, I'm scot-free, boy. So I'm excited for that. No probation, no none of that shit. You feel me? But it was the longest night ever. Okay? That's the thing. When I laid in that bed and I looked up at the roof and was laying there, I felt like I was laying there for 4 days. Straight up. It felt like 4 days. Every couple minutes, probably like an hour was probably the average time, an officer would walk by, shine the flashlight. And in there at South Florida, they don't have the long windows like you see. Them shits was like little windows. So it's dark as hell in your cell. You know what I'm saying? Literally, when they kill them lights, it's a wrap. You feel me? It's like boom, boom. They come, they shine that flashlight in there. And then that shit every time. Like I'd be dozed off, stuck in a trance, like looking and just thinking of what I'm gonna go through, what my bid's about to hold in front of me. What the fuck should I prepare for? And then as I'm like faded off, you know, in my own world, they'll come by with the light, and that light will just make me snap back into reality. And then boom, I'll just fall back into a trance again. And I swear I laid there all the way until breakfast, you know, because I was anxious. I was curious. I didn't want to just sit in a cell and not know what was going on or what the hell's to come. I wanted to literally go out there. I wanted to be in harm's way, basically, so I could figure out where the hell the harm comes from and what it's like. I'd rather know everything and take the risk of being in some shit than to be secluded inside of a cell and everything's going on out there. I feel like I can't see. I don't know what's going on. You feel me? I don't know what's being planned. I don't know what other people are plotting on doing. None of that. I want to see this shit. Even if it's the risk of me being in the middle of it, I still want to go out there and learn as much as possible about prison. And that's what I ended up doing. But lucky for me, nothing happened the next morning, and I didn't have no problems in South Florida. You feel me? But that was the longest night of my bid. That, and of course, the night when I was going home. The day when I was going home the next day, the week before I got released, dragged. The last year always drags, because you're so close to home, you can't help but to think and change your mind 100 times of what you're gonna do when you first get out. You feel me? But my last week, that shit felt like a year itself. Literally, bro. So anxious, couldn't believe it. But then the last night when I knew I was going home tomorrow, even if I tried to go to sleep, it wasn't happening. I couldn't believe it. I'm laying there like in a cell, pulling an all-nighter. Like I'm trying to go to sleep so bad, but it was not happening. You know how it is. You're getting released, bro. You feel me? So that my last night and my first night in prison, both of them shits played a big part inside of my bid. You know what I'm saying? And for anyone that's been locked up, you know how it is. Them are 2 nights that you will always remember. No matter how long you've been on the streets, you will remember the day you got out. No matter how long you've been in prison, you're going to remember the day you came in. And that's just facts. You know what I'm saying? But I want y'all to do me a favor, man. For anyone that's been locked up, even if it ain't been prison, if it's been a juvenile program, the county jail, I don't care where it is. I want y'all to drop inside the comment section what it was like y'all's first night in there. Was it what you was thinking? Was it a bad experience? Was it long like it was for me? Did it feel like that shit was never gonna end? Was your mind playing tricks on you? Because mine was. I thought the movie like American History X, that shit came to my mind. You know, like a bunch of different like prison movies. The Longest Yard, you know, that's what I'm thinking. The movie Animal, if y'all ain't never seen Animal, Animal's pretty raw. 1, 2, and 3, all them shits are raw. Nipsey Hussle's in the 3rd one. raw. You feel me? But them are the type of things, but those are penitentiaries. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. You feel me? That's what made, you know, makes it play tricks on you. You know, but for anyone that's ever, you know, experienced any type of bid, I'm asking y'all to please drop in the comment section what it was like your first night in there. What was going through your mind, okay? Were you scared? Were you nervous? Were you anxious? Were you worried? Were you upset? Were you happy that you got the sentencing over with and you already know what you got to do? You know, all that shit. I'm curious, you feel me? But I'm going to wrap this one on up, man. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all already know that. I say it every time. I truly appreciate my supporters. I try to, you know, interact with y'all as much as possible. I'm not like any of these other green bean YouTubers, bro. I'm no better than anybody that watches my videos. For anyone who's on here that has me on Instagram, y'all know I'm not lying. I respond to every single message I get. It may take me a couple days because I get hundreds of them a day. But, you know, at the same time, I try to interact and show support to the people who support me. Because I ain't shit without the viewers. You feel me? But I'm going to wrap this one on up. I appreciate y'all watching. And like I always say, y'all make sure y'all keep them rats, clowns, snakes, chomos, pedos, all them lying-ass gunners. You feel me? People that lie for clout, all that shit. Keep them out your circle, man, and do what you got to do to prosper. Till next time, y'all already know, man, it's the one and only Frog.